let's get right into the Big 12 Power Rankings. I'm Stevie B. This is Kenny G here on KSU Nation. Again, make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends. Here we go. This is the Big 12 Power Rankings, the final Big 12 Power Rankings of the season.
That's right.
So these standings are what they are for the Big 12 website and also on ESPN. We're going to rank them 16 to number 1. I think we both have Oklahoma State 16, correct?
They have to be. We're putting them at 16 because we can't put them at 20.
Yeah.
They just, yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I would definitely have Arizona as 15 as well. Also, their quarterback, Noah Fafita, you called it, dude. He hit the portal. He's going to the portal when it opens next week.
I mean, do you blame him at all?
No. Their new coach sucks.
That's crazy that they're keeping their new coach. That's a bad move.
They don't have enough money to pay him off, dude.
That's so sad. I'm not going to go Arizona State, though. I'm going to go UCF. I think UCF is crap. They're just trash. And Arizona beat them. So we'll just,
UCF beat the crap out of Arizona by like 50.
Oh, is that right? Dang. Maybe I got that wrong.
They beat them like 56-7.
Swap it for me. I misunderstood.
I wasn't aware of your game. Okay. All right.
I thought I had the games, the scores flipped for some reason, but yeah.
I'm going to go Houston next. I think they played well at times this year, but I still think they're pretty stinky. They are still ahead of schedule with Willie Fritz as their head coach, but I still think they suck. So
Houston for me. There's not much that needs to be said. They are very much improved from where they used to be, and from where they were. This is a rebuild year. That's the difference.
Yep.
This was a rebuild year, and they're not dead last. That's impressive. So, and what they did in BYU, besides the fight, don't condone the fight, but they gave BYU a game. So you got to give credit where credit's due. Even though they still lost, they gave them a game.
Agreed. I'm going to go UCF at 13. Obviously, they beat Arizona. I'm not sure if they played Houston. I don't think they did, but I think they would beat them even without their coach that's now gone, Gus Malzahn. He went off to Florida State. They're in a rebuild right now. This is not for next year. This is right now. If these teams played right now, I think UCF is better than all of the teams behind them. Who do you got at 12?
I'm going to go Utah.
Yeah.
Gotta go Utah here. They just had a really down season. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, they dropped the ball hard. When you put all your eggs in the basket of one quarterback and he just goes out right away, well, I guess that's it for you. So you're at 12.
I'm going to go Cincinnati at 12. And this is just based off how they're playing right now. I mean, both of these teams are 5-7. I mean, I have Utah at 11. I think they put up some fight against BYU. They won at UCF to end the season. There was still some fight in that team. Obviously, they had some quarterback issues this year. I mean, if Utah played Cincinnati right now, I would pick Utah to win that game. So,
yeah, but I mean, it's not about if they would play each other now. It's about, it's about what you did in the season. You got to count the whole season as a whole. So Cincinnati, I mean, they started, 5-1 at one point. They could have been 6-0. So, I mean, that's pretty amazing that they lost like all those games in a row afterwards. But yeah, I'm not going to go, I'm going to go. So I'll go Cincinnati 11. They've been 11 for me like every single week.
Yeah, they started 5-2.
5-2. That's right. 5-2.
They lost 5 straight to end the season, which honestly, you and I were honestly on the Bearcats train for a while because we're like, man, they're just a couple plays away from beating Texas Tech and Pitt, and those are 2 pretty good teams, and then they lost 5 in a row. So
yeah. I guess I'll go next. I think I'm going to go a surprising pick here, but I don't think it's too surprising. I'm going to put West Virginia here.
I agree. That's exactly where I was going to put West Virginia as well. I think
The
we're
way
going to.
that they just gave up in that game versus
Yep.
Texas Tech, or
Yep.
was it Texas? Yeah. I'm like, there's no excuse for that. Like you guys, I can't believe it. It blows my mind that you would that they would play that bad.
They
towards
did
the
beat
end.
KU, which is who I have at number 9, but that was when KU was playing really bad earlier in the season. That's obviously before West Virginia fired their coach. If they played right now, I would pick KU to win that game. And honestly, I think they're up double digits with like 5 minutes ago anyways. I just think KU is a better team right now, even though they have one more loss. So I have KU number 9, the Mountaineers number 10.
Interesting. I'll go. I think I'll go KU here. Yeah, I'll go KU. It's their season's unfortunate. You know, I mean, if they would have just started out like they ended, they could probably be on their way to a college or a Big 12 championship game, but they just couldn't get it done early in the season.
I mean, when you lose your
A lot
last
of one-score losses. A lot of one-score
losses. They got kind of unlucky with Illinois finally being good and UNLV being good, and they had the toughest schedule of anyone in the entire Big 12. Having said that, you got to win some games, and they did toward the end of the season. They did run out of gas against Baylor, but like I said, I still think they're.
What was it?
I think they'd beat West Virginia right now.
What was it they said? Like basically every game that they lost, if they would have just stopped playing before the 2-minute timeout,
they would have
won all their games.
They would have been 10-2.
It's so stupid.
10 or 9-3. They would have been 9-3.
So bad, dude. That's so bad.
Yep.
Oh man, that's rough. That's rough, dude.
Who you got at number 8?
I'm gonna go Texas Tech.
I also have Texas Tech at number 8.
I'm gonna go Texas Tech.
I think it's a good spot for them. I mean,
yeah,
they won 8
no
games.
Defense.
They went 6-3 in the Big 12 this year. I think they're a pretty good team. They're in the top half. They were in the top 5 at one point, but they never really looked like a championship contender, honestly. But that win at Iowa State is among one of the best wins this year in the Big 12.
Yeah, they got no defense whatsoever, but they play hard. So it's kind of one of them things. They have that toughness that I wish K-State had a little bit of. You know, it's unfortunate, but number 8, that's not a bad place for Texas Tech. We kind of knew they were going to be middle of the road, and that's where they ended, right there, right at the gatekeeper.
6-3, yeah, 8-9. That's a gatekeeper spot, and they're in the top half. So shout out to them. Number 7, what do you got?
I'm going to go TCU, only because I believe that K-State would beat TCU in a head-to-head.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Yep. And so TCU, that's a great spot for them. I think they literally turned their season around, dude. And that's what sucks. Like all these other teams, they start off horribly and then they like turned it on at the end. And that's what that's what teams are supposed to be like. They're supposed to get better with the season. And what does K-State do? The complete opposite. They get trash at the end of the season. So that's why K-State, for me, is at number 6. I can't see them going any higher than that.
I agree. I cannot put them any higher than 6 right now. I mean, they went 5-4. They lost 3 out of the last 4 to end the season. Their offense was pretty bad on third down. Their defense is pretty bad on third down too. There were some bright spots. Avery Johnson is only 3 touchdown passes away from breaking the single season record for a quarterback in his first year as a starter. But the O-line was pretty bad all season. I mean, DJ Giddens made him look pretty good. They did have a great win at Colorado, which is, again, among some of the best wins in the conference this year. But considering how they play down the stretch, you can't lose at Houston and be in the top 5 to end the season. You just can't. So K-State number 6.
Another thing is that, K-State had a really tough schedule. They played all the other 4 teams that were in contention for the for the championship game. I mean, they lost to a 10-2 Arizona State, a 10-2 BYU. You know, they lost, yes, against the Houston team, of course, and then they lost to the 10-2 Iowa State. So they lost to all the 10-2 teams. So yeah, and it sucks. They were in those games except for BYU. They were in those games. I mean, K-State, if they could just learn how to kick a dang ball, they would have been in that Arizona State game if they didn't have an O-line go down while we were scoring a touchdown pass. It just it's frustrating. But again, you gotta put them objectively at 6. At least they're at the top half. I mean, that's like the glass half full kind of look.
Yeah, but still, it's a frustrating season. No one in Manhattan's happy to be 8-4. No one in Manhattan is happy to be 8-4. No one.
No.
So.
No.
Number 5.
Gotta go. This might be controversial. I think I'm going to put Colorado here.
Oh! Let me hear why.
Well, I mean, they lost to Kansas, they lost to K-State, they lost to Nebraska. The loss to K-State, you know, was early on the season. Same thing with Nebraska, but I don't know, man. I think that the teams above them, I think every team above them would beat them. That's why. Ultimately, that's why.
Baylor,
now I know,
Baylor lost,
I know,
but they should have won.
I know that Baylor. You know, Baylor lost to Colorado, but that was very early on in the season. And I know I'm putting egg on my face immediately because I'm like, well, K-State was early on the season. They beat, you know, you said that they beat them. I would say that Baylor is playing the best football in the country, some of the best football in the country right now. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think right now, got to put Colorado at 5. That's just how I'm feeling right now. I'm gonna get a lot of hate. But hey, you guys, what do you went 9-3, 9-2? What is it? 9-3. You went 9-3. You should be pumped about that.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. And they do have 2 of the best players in the entire college football landscape. Travis Hunter for Heisman, Shedeur Sanders for the number 1 pick. I think they're pretty good. I don't think they're the 5th best team. I have them higher than that. I have Baylor at number 5. I think they're really good. They lost to BYU. They lost to Iowa State. They lost to Colorado. I know they've gotten better throughout the season, but I just can't justify putting them ahead of any of those teams when they lost to all of them. So I got Baylor at number 5. I think they're going to be scary next year. I think they are on their way to being very good. They should have beaten Colorado, but they didn't. Had they won that game, they may have been in Arlington, but they're not. And they got, steamrolled by Iowa State. They won close against TCU, or it was a close game. Who won this game? Yeah, they did beat TCU by 3. They bum rushed Texas Tech. I think they're pretty good. I just don't think they're quite there this season, but next year, I think it's them, K-State, and maybe 1 or 2 others, dude. But right now, number 5. So, number 4, what do you got?
I got BYU at number 4.
No! No way, dude.
I think the sauce has finally gone down. They played an extremely way too close for comfort game against Houston. Dude, that should have been a blowout game. You're at home at night, and Houston made it a game against you. I'm raising my eyebrows a little bit. I'm raising my eyebrows. And I just feel like if they played Iowa State, they'd probably lose. If they played Baylor right now, if they wouldn't play a game right now, they would lose. I think that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, they played pretty close with Baylor in the second half. I think BYU is really good. I really do. I have Iowa State as the 4th best team in the Big 12 right now. There are 4 teams at 7-2. They're not obviously going to look like the standings, I think any of those teams should have been in Arlington. Maybe they got to figure out a way to get to be a +1 next year if there's 4 teams tied. I think Iowa State, K-State played all of these teams. K-State played Colorado, BYU, Iowa State, and Arizona State. I believe Iowa State is the weakest of those 4 teams. Now, I know they have 2 really good receivers. I know Rocco Becht is pretty good. I'm just not enamored with their team. I'm not. I think Colorado's got way more star power. I think BYU's defense is really good, coupled with a great quarterback. I think Arizona State's got the best offense of all of those teams. Great quarterback, great running back, a pretty good defense too. I just think Iowa State is the 4th best among those teams. I do. They got lucky with the tiebreakers. I think they're number 4, man. I do not think they're better than Colorado, BYU, or Arizona State.
It's interesting, man. I mean, if Iowa State played Colorado, I think Colorado would have a very difficult time throwing the ball, and
No
they don't
way.
really run it.
No way, dude. Jace Brown went off against them, dude. He did, and
I think
Colorado's receivers are way better.
Yeah, that's a one-off game. Everybody has their bad days, but if you, I think the conditions probably played a factor. But anyway, yeah.
Number 3.
Number 3, I can't put them any higher. Baylor. I just think that they're playing insane right now, dude. They're dominating. They're absolutely dominating. Baylor. They look, what they did to KU is something that Colorado couldn't do. It's something that BYU couldn't do. That's back, and something that Iowa State couldn't do. So back to back to back, KU just dominating these teams. And then Baylor walks in and slams the door shut on their entire season and their hopes to getting into a bowl game. So I don't know. I just think Baylor's playing very, very good right now. And it's why I have them at 3. I think they're at the power level right now, the power rankings right now. They're strong, dude. And yes, what you pointed out, next year, I'm terrified. I am terrified of playing this team. I have it already marked as a loss. We're going to be at Baylor for that game, and I already have it down as a loss.
Yep, I can see that. I think they're pretty good, and that's why I had them number 5. Colorado number 3. I think they're a top 3 team in this conference. I think they got some great star power. When looking at a team overall, I think that BYU and Arizona State are better. I do. I really do. I think Colorado's really good. Their defense has gotten so much better. Their program has gotten so much better. I've actually gained more respect for Deion Sanders this year than I had all of last year. Everyone talked about how good he was, and, I guess he just needed some time. They already have a bunch of really good recruits coming in as well. I do think next year is a rebuild year, but, man, I think Colorado's number 3. So, hey, we got a $4.99 super chat. Shout out to Master Ego. Thanks for shouting out my comments. I enjoy this channel. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Master Ego. He is probably, you know what? He probably has an amazing body and a beautiful face. And he probably has no issues with getting women. And he probably has a very successful job. And he most likely is very good at fishing. I'm just going to go out and go on a limb and just say that you're a great fisherman. You have a body of a Greek god, the face of an angel, and you probably just slay. You slay with the women, dude. I guarantee it.
It probably has the best voice you've heard since Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake. He's got to probably have a beautiful falsetto.
Oh,
I
man.
bet he can sing amazing tunes. But really, shout out to Master Ego. That guy comments more than anyone on our channel, and we really, really appreciate the $4.99 super chat that Kenny and I split. We appreciate you, dude. We really do. So
wow,
he is a BYU fan. He says they should let go of their offensive coordinator. I mean, I think everyone feels like they should get rid of their offensive coordinator right now. K-State feels that way. Texas A&M feels that way. I want Colin Klein back. I do. We'll take him back. We will. But I feel you. Okay.
Oh,
It
his
was
name
Kenny
is
too. Oh my gosh.
Represent. Represent.
Dude, the best name on the planet, because I'm
It's
not
the
a big fan
greatest.
of Steve or Stevie or Steven. So I think
It's the
Kenny's
greatest name.
a pretty cool name. Oh my God, they killed Kenny.
Never
Thank
gets
you so
old.
much for all of the comments and super chat, man. We appreciate it. Okay, Kenny G. Who do you got at number 2? I think I already know, but who do you got?
Well, even though I'm picking Iowa, I gotta go Iowa State at number 1. You
I
gotta
was
go
going to
Iowa
say, I
State.
feel like you got to go with them number 1.
I gotta go number 1 since I'm picking them to win. So I think it just makes sense when you do it that way. I don't disagree. The thing is, I don't disagree with your list. Really, I don't. Too much. I think I think Iowa State's just based on record better than Colorado, but I don't disagree with putting it there. I mean, it's go either way. I think BYU might be a little too high in my eyes, but I'm not saying that they're like it's like 1 through 4 is not as big of a gap as people think. Like
They all have the same conference record, so they're all pretty interchangeable, honestly.
Yeah, it's very tight. So yeah.
I got to go BYU at number 2. They lost at Arizona State. I really wanted a rematch. I felt like, honestly, BYU and Arizona State were the 2 best teams all year. I mean, K-State played them both, and K-State had the hardest time of those 4 teams to move the ball on offense, right? Now, obviously, we talked about how K-State's offense kind of struggled this year at times, but those 2 teams really, really made it hard on K-State's offense to move the ball, to score. I think both of them had pretty good quarterbacks as well. Arizona State's got the upper hand, in my opinion, because of their running back and obviously Jordan Tyson as well. I think those are the 2 best teams. I think BYU should get into the CFP as an at-large. Their resume is pretty darn good. They beat SMU, who's probably going to be in CFP with a win or loss in the ACC title game. I think Arizona State's going to win the Big 12 title. I said it in the main podcast here. I think Arizona State's the best team, followed by BYU, and then Colorado, Iowa State, Baylor, and K-State. That's my top 6, man.
I respect it. I think top 6. I think really top 8. Top 9. We'll go top 9. The top 9 are teams that could really play well against all of each other. The from 10 to 16 trash. They're going to be I'll ask you this, Steve, since we have it pulled up here. This is a question that I was actually thinking about today. With all these teams that you see here, let's just focus on the bottom, right? Amongst the bottom teams, who do you think is going to be a permanent bottom feeder team in the Big 12?
Houston or Arizona. What about you?
I think Houston will get out of the bottom because I think Willie Fritz is a great coach and this was a rebuild year for him. My guess is it's definitely Arizona for sure, without a doubt. I think keeping Brett Brennan there is a big mistake for them, and they're going to be a bottom feeder team. They're probably going to be stuck down there for the better part of probably like 6 years, 7 years maybe. I think Cincinnati will also be down there. I don't think
as long as Satterfield is their coach.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good pick for them. And I think West Virginia might be down there. Now, I think unless they find somebody that's amazing, but was there anybody like in line for this? I have no idea.
West Virginia is possibly looking at Penn State's offensive coordinator.
Oh,
Andy
yeah.
Mickey, which is the former OC at KU.
Yeah.
I think he's a pretty good coach, so I think he could do some good things there.
Yeah, if that happens,
we'll
then I retract my
statement.
statement.
Because I feel like Penn State could probably offer him a lot of money. if they make the CFP and go pretty far. I don't know why you'd leave that situation to be the head coach at West Virginia, but I digress. Yeah, I think Arizona is probably the one team among all of those that probably should stay in the bottom.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't feel like that program is very good overall, anyways. So to answer your
Okay.
question, but that is the Big 12 power rankings, the final Big 12 power rankings of the season. Kenny.